Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here today. Director Whaley wanted me to speak to you. I think it's a good idea to speak to you about some happenings at the Iowa Division of Labor. And this basically deals with our elevator division here. We're holding some public input meetings across the state, and yesterday we had our first one in Preston. And the reason for these meetings is to get public input. And we're talking about elevator and elevator safety. The Elevator Safety Board, advisory board appointed by the governor, meets on a monthly basis, discuss elevator issues and elevator variances. And one of the things they've been working on for a long time is a section of, it's called the American Society for Mechanical Engineers, which makes recommendations on elevators across the country. So you have national standards for safety everywhere. Just like you do with cars, you have certain requirements, and requirements to be consistent across the country. And Iowa has adopted most of those, except for one standard, which is called A17-3. This deals with older elevators. And the reason we're talking about older elevators, we're talking about 1960s, 1970s. Why did this become a interesting issue and something that we need to talk about because of the financial impact this might have on different businesses, schools, counties, and communities, and as legislators and as people on this board, you might be getting some hearing about this, and we wanted to make sure that you are on the beginning of this thing hearing on the first end. Now, what is going to happen? We're going to have public input. It's going to come back to the elevator board. There's going to be discussion. We're going to talk about the safety part of this, which the elevator people are concerned with, and then the financial impact this could have on some of these businesses. And my goal is basically try to come to an accommodation that would satisfy all those needs. Nothing is going to be happening on the short term. We do have a site that you can go to. I'd make available to you if you'd like, where our next 4 hearings are going to be. But you can go out to the Iowa Workforce Development site, www.iowaworkforce.org/elevator. So it's iowaworkforce.org/elevator. And they'll give you question and answers on this, talk to you about where the hearings are at, and seeking input from individuals on what their concerns may be. At the end of the day, the elevator board has the responsibility, or they have the authority to send over rules that would implement the A17-3. But not without input, not without discussion. They can adopt all of it, they can adopt part of it, they don't have to adopt any of it. But the feeling being that these rules are set out for the betterment and safety of the citizens of Iowa, so that's what I'm taking a look at. I'd be happy to take a couple questions regarding that or anything else you have. I don't really use the forum here very often, but if you have anything from me, I'll be happy to address it.
Can elevators of that age actually be upgraded in place, or do they have to be replaced, or does that vary?
There's where it comes. There's certain standards that this section has in it, and there might meet 8 of those standards, and might not meet 2 of them. Some of the, if we're getting into controllers, and I'm kind of a rookie at this, believe me, I'm learning on the fly myself. There's some items that are more expensive than others. If you're looking at the main controller built with fire safety, that can become quite expensive. And that's the concern that people have, and it's a legitimate one. And where we're hearing from? We're hearing from private colleges, community colleges, hospitals, schools, and they know, and nobody's walked away from safety. They know and want safety. At the same time, how do we put this in a manner that they can afford? And one of the things the elevator board is talking about is trying to put in possibility some type of moratorium. You do so many things now, and you build it in over 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Where this is going to go at the end, I don't know, but what we do want to know is how people feel about it, so that we can take this back and you have a good discussion. So the older elevators, depending upon what you have to do, could be anywhere from very little, under $1,000, to as high as $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 if you have to replace the oil with it. Anything else that?
And all the folks have been notified that these are...
Yes. We did, that's a good question. We notified people. We mailed to all the individuals, the stakeholders. We put out a communication, publication notice. We've emailed. We've got a great web page out there. So all the stakeholders have been notified, 4 more meetings left. The last one will be in Des Moines in October. I think we have one in Fort Dodge. See if I can find those meetings for you real quickly here. We have one in Fort Dodge next week. There we are. September 19th, Iowa Central Community College in Fort Dodge. September 25th, Hawkeye Community College in Waterloo. September 28th, Indian Hills Community College in Ottumwa. October 2nd, Old Babcock building across from the Capitol. They're all, meeting times are, and you might want to go on the webpage to get this. In Fort Dodge, it's at 1 o'clock, September 19th. In Waterloo, it's at 1 o'clock, September 25th, Hawkeye Community College, room 107A. September 28th, 1 o'clock, Indian Hills Community College, room 122. And then October 2nd, the old Babcock Miller building, which is right across from the Capitol, and that's at 10:30 in the morning, room 310. And if you get feedback and questions from constituents or people, report them to us, and we'll try to do the best to educate them on this. Again, I would tell them nothing's finalized, nothing's going to happen in the short term. We're seeking input, and the elevator board wants to make a proper decision, weighing everything in together. So that's where it's at. But you could get some questions because of the financial impact.
Is there a relationship between upgraded safety and insurance rates?
I would assume there would be. It only makes sense. I'm just talking. I would think so. I'm just speaking off the cuff here. So, but the elevators that we're talking about are old. We're talking 1960s. Yes, Representative.
Mike, this is Ron Jorgensen. Were there any incidences, or has there been across the state involving these elevators?
We have not had any major incidences. We've been very fortunate in Iowa with elevator safety being very, very good. You know, the one incident that I can recall, and this is before I was here, but I think most of it recall it, was at Iowa State University a few years ago, where some kids were basically horsing around, and an individual got pushed through an elevator door, and that was about as serious as you could get. They lost a life there. But any instances that we have out there now outstanding with elevators, no. For the most part, we've been very fortunate in this state, in the area of elevator safety.
Thank you.
All right.
Other questions?
Thank you very much. I
Thank-
appreciate it.